Hi everyone, this is Yogesh. So this is my second session, okay, Salesforce Data Cloud session 2. In earlier session, we have discussed about the data cloud, that what is data cloud and what are the different modules which comes under the data cloud, what are the different licenses and permission set in this data cloud. So today we will walk through around the data ingestion, that how we can inject the data from any of the external environment. So we can start. Can you go? Yeah. So this is the brief introduction about myself. Myself, Yogesh. I am a solution architect in Infosys Noida. So this is my profile with a certified solution architect and application architect as well. This is my LinkedIn profile. Okay. If you want to scan, you can scan and connect it with me. Shall we move? Yeah. So these are the main topic which we will cover in today's session, that is data cloud and data lake concept. So in the last session, I got one feedback from one person that before starting the data cloud, that data cloud works with the data lakes, data model, data DLOs, DMOs. But conceptually, what is the data lake? Okay. So today I will go through with one of the slide with the conceptually, that what is data lake, why it is known as data lake, and what is the importance of data lake. In second slide, this is the topic of data cloud, data spaces. Okay, rest of the topic are from the data cloud, data spaces, customer 360 data model, data cloud setup and configuration. We will go through this part also. What are the different skill set required for the data cloud? If you want to work into the data cloud as a technical, as a business analyst, or as a, you can say, stakeholder, then what are the different skill set you need to require? Then this is for the data cloud interfaces. What are the different interfaces in data cloud? And finally, the data graph. One is concept into the data cloud. And finally, we can build one of the AI model with data cloud. So recently, data cloud has implemented AI model. Earlier, it was satisfied only the Einstein data models, okay, Einstein AI model. But now, in the recent feature, they have allowed with the multiple different vendors AI models. So there is a concept known as bring your own AI model, okay. So earlier that was not the case. It satisfied only the Einstein model. But now, if you have one Snowflake or any other technology, Databricks AI model, you can inject that AI model in data cloud. And finally, we will do a quick demo that how we can inject the data from one of the AWS environment. So it having the different plugin through which you can inject the data. If let's say your organization is running onto the Snowflake and all the data structure are implemented into the Snowflake, then is it possible that data cloud also provides some option to inject the data from the Snowflake? The answer is yes. In second scenario, let's say if your organization is working onto the Databricks, okay, that is again a data lake concept. Now question is that whether data cloud provide the option to inject the data from the Databricks. The answer is yes. It have the plugin, okay. It have approximately 100 plus plugin through which you can inject the data and start your customer 360 journey. So conceptually, if we understand what is data lake, okay. So data lake is nothing but a massive repository of the structured and unstructured of data. If you are working in traditional application, when you work with some .NET or Java application, which interact with one SQL Server or Oracle as a relational database, okay. But think about the concept that you are getting the feed from the Facebook, you are getting some feed from your customer 360 journey, from hospital, from customer buying portal, B2B or B2C. So all data is totally unstructured. Okay. So that kind of such situation will be handled using the data lake. So data lake is nothing but the repository of structured and unstructured data. Now, what are the different examples of data lakes which is provided by top you can say player, that is Amazon AWS S3, that is the biggest stakeholder into the data lake environment. They have the most approximately 60% data lakes in throughout the enterprise. Second is Snowflake, Azure Data Lakes, and Databricks and Cloudera and GCP. There are multiple companies who are creating their own data lakes also. Accenture also having, TCS also having, Infi also provided the data lake solution, but those are very minimal here. Mostly the solutions which we adopt as a data lake, that is AWS S3 and Snowflake most of the time. This is the main conceptual diagram that how data lakes convert your data into the data lakes. So when you inject the data, the ingestion can be done from different interfaces. It can be some CSV file, it can be some JSON payload, it can be some mobile application. So these are the different you can say input of your data. It inject the data and not stored into the data cloud, because data cloud doesn't contain any data. All data cloud provided into the AWS S3 bucket. Okay. Let's say I am working in one of the organization in pharma company. Okay. We have patient data in my one of the AWS S3 bucket. Okay. And in some other instances I have my customer data. Correct. So how data cloud can inject both S3 bucket data in my data lakes environment? And there is a concept Amazon S3 Glacier. Okay. If there are multiple data lakes which having, you can say, terabytes of data, so those will be managed in the Glacier, S3 Glacier. In this presentation, the conceptual or knowledge is fine, but we are not implementing the Glacier because that is the outer scope. Till in this presentation, we will showcase that how you can inject the data from AWS S3. So these are the different data category into the data stream setup. We will show at the time of ingestion the data. It requires the three different options, whether my data is profile, engagement or other. Now what is the meaning of profiling and engagement? Profiling means you are representing one of the unique person. Okay. Let's say I have my customer data, I have my patient data, I have my, let's say, Facebook data which comes through the advertisement or any other features, and you are representing one of the unique person. Okay. So those data comes under the profiling. Engagement is nothing but engagement is like how your customer purchasing the different things from the different sites. Okay. Let's say I have one email address. Okay. And through this email address I have one account onto the Amazon, I have one account onto the Flipkart. Okay. On both the sites I am purchasing the things. Correct. In the backend, when data cloud merge with the instances, because these are obviously a website. Okay. And data cloud can capture the data from the mobile or website. So at the time we are making the profiling, that we are getting the data of a unique person. Okay. Unique record. So at the time I need to select the profile. If we are selecting the profile, then definitely there is some email address, there is some mobile number, there is some contact point address. So these three different things, email, contact point, email comes under the contact phone, contact email, phone is coming into the contact phone, and address information goes into the contact point address. These three objects comes under my customer 360 data model, which we have discussed into the next slide. So these are nothing but the, when we inject the data, okay, I need to select that what is the formation of this object, whether it's a profiling, engagement or other. Other means I have some rough data. Currently I am not deciding that this data comes under my engagement or profiling. So I can select other. Basically we are capturing the data in my data cloud layer. Yeah, can you move to the next one? Yeah, so data spaces. In normal sales and service environment, we created the different permission set, and through permission set, we can set up the different user through which they can access the different object, different you can say field level and all the information. In the same concept in data cloud, these defined under the data spaces. Okay, so data spaces is nothing but let's take one example. In my organization I have finance, manufacturing and HR, okay, human resource. So just treat it as these are the different data spaces. I want to segregate that the person who are from the HR side, they can't see the data of my account or manufacturing or any other different department. So at the time of data cloud configuration, I will ask that how many different organization, sub organization or sub department are working in this company. So this is the concept of security, that how you can manage the data. Let's say in this data space 1, I am putting one object named as HR information, okay, employee information, and employee information having the salary detail. Salary detail cannot be exposed to one of the person who are from the manufacturing side, okay. So these, the segregation of these logical partition of data with the different group, region or department, okay. Now it is up to you how you are segregated your complete data structure, okay. So before implementing a data cloud, you need to go through some detailed level of brainstorming, that what either you need to go with the group basis, region basis or department basis, okay. If you are running one let's say web portal, okay, and on regional basis there are the different set of instruction. Set of instruction means they have different taxation features, they have the different data privacy law. So in that case you can go with the different data spaces concept. So at broad level, what I want to understand, that data spaces are nothing but our, in normal sales and service cloud, those are the concept of permission set, okay. In data cloud also, when you create a permission set, you need to assign one of the data spaces, okay. Let's say I am creating one HR users, okay, HR user PS permission set, and in this permission set I will assign only that particular data space which is related to my HR objects, correct. Now it is up to you, when you are configure one object, obviously we will do the or we will follow the naming convention, HR underscore object name, these are some certain things. So these object will be defined in my that particular data space, which will be access only the HRPS. Yeah. Before moving this slide, do we have any questions about those three previous slides? Data spaces, data lakes, and concept of data cloud. Okay. So in the previous slide, when we inject the data, it may be possible that you can use the existing or defined customer 360 data model, okay. I am injecting one data of my customer, okay, and that customer CSV having all the details, their first name, last name, email address, their contact number, then uh, their permanent address, then temporary address. Lot of columns are there into the CSV. So what is this customer 360 data model? When we are understanding that this data is related to my customer, okay, so Salesforce provide certain kind of template, okay, object template, that you don't need to go with custom object, custom DLO. I have defined the your standard template, okay, and those can be used for your purpose, okay. Let's say I am posting the data for account object. On account object we have account name, account details, account address, okay, and all those data can be distributed into the different objects. We have customer email, okay, contact point address, contact point email, contact point address. So contact point address will contain only those information which are related to the address, customer primary address, secondary address. Customer email will be defined all those records which having the email information of my customer, okay. And this is what is that? Can you see it? Individual, okay. This is my individual, because obviously one of the account is a individual record. So basically these different objects Data Cloud has provided, in which we can inject the data, okay. And obviously there is a mechanism for the custom DLOs configuration. You can define your object, okay, if you are not satisfied with the customer 360 model, okay. I am thinking that my solution is totally independent, so I will go with the custom DLO configuration. So what you can do, you can define your custom DLO, okay, and in this you can define the different attributes, what attributes or field you will define corresponding to capture that information, okay. Yeah. Now this slide is going towards the demo, okay. So what are the different permission set and different configuration for the Data Cloud? When you set up a Data Cloud org, by default you will get these 4 different permission, okay. Data Cloud admin, Data Cloud marketing admin, Salesforce connector, and Data Cloud user. First and fourth one, these are the admin and normal user kind of permission set, okay. If you want to give the, let's say, different data spaces permission, I have, let's say, 50 different data spaces according to my different region or different department. So all those users will come under with this permission, Data Cloud user, okay. And if I am the wholesale responsible for managing the Data Cloud environment, I will use the Data Cloud admin permission set, okay. So when we configure a Data Cloud, so I will see you that how you can configure this Data Cloud, okay. So this is the screen where it shows as Data Cloud setup, okay. In this setup you need to define that on which particular instances you want to go. Instances means AWS instances, okay. So whole AWS environment, you know that differentiated into the different regional, okay, Asia Pacific, Japan, or North America, EU. According to your local presence, let's say if I want to access my Data Cloud from Asia Pacific, so I can choose the nearest AWS location, okay. So once you will do this configuration, Data Cloud will be set up and it provide you the hosting information, okay. Let's say I set up my Data Cloud org, so it give me this hosting information. This hosting basically instance in AWS environment, CDP AWS prod 1 user east, US east. So this is the location, and this is the tenant specific endpoint. Let's say in data cloud we inject the data, we process the data. Now the time to expose this data to the external application, correct? So this is my endpoint. Using this endpoint, I can give this endpoint to the external application, and they can hit this URL and get the data. Obviously they need to first do the handshaking in between public or private key configuration, but most of the time you need to configure this tenant specific endpoint. Yeah, so this is important slide, the Salesforce Data Cloud skill set. So a number of time we discussed that in data cloud what kind of such different person can work. Okay, so according to me, these are the three different skill set which data cloud required. Okay, developer skill set, data management skill set, and business analyst skill set. Developer skill set is the person who can inject the data, making the connectivity, responsible for the API configuration, provide the API configuration to the external team or any other vendor team so that they can use their data. Data management skill set are those skill set which understand the organization data model, correct? So this particular role is little bit techno functional, okay? And business analyst skill set, these are the person who understand the business language. Okay, in data cloud we have the data, okay, and in multiple system you have seen in your organization also that lot of data are just stored into the silos mode. There is no any use without the identify of this data. So these is the key person, okay, who understand the data language and who can provide the relevancy of that data. So this slide is the answer for those guys who want to work into the data cloud, but for their background, let's say I am from the business analyst prospect and I am keen interested to work into the data cloud. So in which kind of stream they can go? They can go into the business analyst skill, and they can understand the challenge and other priorities of the business, that how they can leverage this data which are stored into the silos mode. That data can be moved into the data cloud for the decision making and further decision. Yeah, so let's say I need to implement one data cloud solution for one organization. Okay, so what are the key factors which I need to keep in mind, correct? So first of thing, I need to understand what are the different endpoint for my data cloud. I can prepare the one Excel sheet or whatever document you can configure, that these are the different sources through which my data cloud will get the data. So you can see there, I can specify here Salesforce, marketing, B2C, then Interaction Studio, Amazon S3, that is again CSV upload or any other feed. Then there is Google GCP, SFTP, and Microsoft Azure. These are the different you can say file solution. Let's say there is one system who generated a one CSV on any night scheduled, okay, and those file will be transferred into this environment, and through this environment I have one my AWS environment where I can upload one of the file, okay. So these are the different buckets basically, okay. You understand the concept of bucket on AWS environment. So right now I have 4 different bucket, and let me upload one of the file in my airport directory. Okay, and you can see here, this is my data cloud instances. It have currently 15 data stream, 1 segment and 0 activation. Okay, before moving on to this, let's discuss first about the data cloud setup. So when we configure the data or demand a data cloud org from the Salesforce, so they will provide this Salesforce org and enable this option for you. Okay, this is nothing but a anyone work into the service console, service setup, normal service setup. So when you go into the service setup, you will get a option here to define the service console, that what will be the email address for your case management, or so all those kind of housekeeping you will do using this link. So in the same tradition, Salesforce provided this data cloud setup. Here what we can do, we can configure the different connections. If you see here, that cloud interface is already set up, but if you are clicking for the first time, in this screen it will ask your instance information in which you want to define and these. So right now you can see this is my CDP org, data cloud org, and this is my tenant. In the left hand side, these are the different configuration. Let's say one of my B2C commerce cloud is also working, so I can configure my B2C cloud configuration. Here I need to provide that endpoint URL, and after that it will ask the different private and public key. So same you can see here, marketing cloud is again not a free version, so I am not able to configure it. Salesforce CRM, it may be possible that you can inject the data from your normal sales or service sales cloud org. So does data cloud provide this facility? Yes. So using the new connection, you can make a connection with the Salesforce org and inject your custom or standard object data. This is for the website and mobile app. Okay, ingestion API, I created one service connection. This is the most important, okay, connector. So here we can make a connectivity with the AWS environment or GCP, Google Cloud, or whatever different option which Salesforce Data Cloud has provided. So you can see there, it provides all the connectors. If your Aurora MySQL is onto the AWS environment, you make the connection with this. So it is totally a plug and play. Okay, there is no any code, or you need to create some connected app, or you need to say some good knowledge of basic Salesforce. It doesn't require. Okay, let's say you want to configure Databricks connections, then Gendex, one of the support systems, ServiceNow, so all connectors are available. So here I am choosing one of the AWS S3 bucket connection. So these are my two connectors I have configured for AWS environment. Bucket ATS, okay. So in bucket ATS, you can see that I configured, this is my SFDC Data Cloud demo. This is bucket name. Bucket name is nothing but my this configuration, SFDC Data Cloud. Okay, and under this bucket I need to get the data from this one, airport detail. Okay, and let me upload one file here. So let's start the ingestion, that how the ingestion work into the Salesforce. So let me upload one file. So I selected one file session underscore demo. Okay, and if you see the data of this file session underscore demo, so that data is nothing but rough data. Okay, I just created the 5 different columns: ref id, first name, last name, email and phone number. It having the 500 entries. So let's inject this data in Data Cloud. First I will place this file onto the AWS environment, the bucket name which I have configured in my Salesforce org, and it has uploaded this data on my location. So this is the file session demo recently uploaded. Now how we inject the data? You understand this connectivity, right? I configured one connectivity, and let's inject the data into the data stream first. Now these are the different connectors, which means that what is your source through which you want to get the data. Okay, so I will select AWS S3 and click on to the next. Now you can see these are the nothing but the connection which I configured in my connections teams. So I will select the S3 bucket ATS ATC. Now file format, it's a CSV format, and what is the file name? So I will pick the file name. Now you can see, you remember this screen, right? New data stream. So here I need to select the data which we are posting into the Data Cloud. This is a profile, engagement or others. So obviously this data shows first name, last name, phone number. So it is comes under the profiling, correct? This is the mandatory field. I need to select what is the primary key for this data. I am selecting the ref id and next. If you want to change the name of DLO, by default you can see it provided a names the same as CSV file. Okay, let's take the different name, demo 20. Okay, click on next. Here I need to provide the schedule, that what is the schedule of that, whether it's 5-minute schedule, 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly, daily, weekly or monthly. So these are the basic option. So let's do it for the 15-minute schedule and click on deploy. Now it is making a requesting to the AWS environment and deploying this thing. You can see here, let me just open another screen. Right now you can see you get this DLOs, okay, demo 20, but there is no any last process or total record. Okay, so in this you need to just click last run. Okay, it start the execution. The current state is pending, and once it will be moving to the in progress, we can see the our 500 line item in this row. And this is nothing but my profiling, where I need to do the profiling. Okay, so these are the basic structure. In left hand side I can see my demo 20, and in right hand side I can configure that what are the different data models which I need to use for this object. So I know this data is related to my contact point address or contact point phone number or contact point email. So what I will do, I will search the existing object which can be used. So I am using this contact point email. And if you see here, let me refresh it. You need to make the primary key. So you know that in the ingestion, at the time of ingestion, I created ref id as my primary key, and for this table, what is the primary key? You can see contact point email. So what I will do, I will map this and save. So it's create the simple mapping, and now it will inject the data. It takes some time, okay? So after few minutes I will refresh this window, okay? Do we have any questions till now? So this